As she said, my name is Megan Bellows. I'm a Firefly, and I'm going to show you some of the valuable sales order features included in Acumatica. We're going to look at sales order invoice and some variances on that process. We're also going to touch on quotes and drop shipments, and then I'll end with discounts and some of the discount capabilities within the system. All right, so we're going to get started. And everything you'll see today is out-of-the-box functionality. I'm not including any customizations or third-party products. And currently, I'm logged in as the admin within the system, so this is the super user. Each user within your system would have access to only the screens and items that they need to perform their job based on the role-based setup. So like I said, first I'm going to walk through a complete process to enter a new sales order, prepare the shipment, and create an invoice. And I'm going to show a couple different examples. The first one, we'll just walk through the web screens and kind of look at some of the other features within Acumatica as well. And in the second demonstration, I'm actually going to enter the sales order from the mobile app and then manage the pick, pack, and ship with a warehouse mobile scanner. And we'll notice when we get in there that the mobile application for Acumatica is Android or IO operating system, and so the scanners are also Android operating systems, so it's the same application, whether you're downloading on your phone or a tablet or on the warehouse scanner. Okay, so first of all, we're going to notice here on the left that we have the workspaces within Acumatica. These are like modules, what you're used to seeing. Within the workspace, we have menu tiles at the top and all of the other menu options here at the bottom. You can choose to see a full list of menu options, or you have the option for a quick menu, which is a condensed list of what you would normally use for daily work. And each user will have access to different workspaces and menu items based on roles and permissions. So we're going to go into a new sales order. And all transaction screens within Acumatica are laid out similarly. The top is your header or summary information, and at the bottom is going to be your line items or details. You're always going to see this header options up here. The notes are header level notes. So Acumatica being an integrated CRM product, this information is attached throughout the system to transactions for all users with proper permissions to access. The activities is going to capture emails sent for the transaction. We'll see that as we go through. And activities can also be tasks or events that you set up that are associated. Files is going to capture anything that you attach to that transaction, which can be a customer PO. We're going to see that as well. And notifications are used for preset emails to be sent out based on different conditions. And those emails can go to internal or external recipients. We also always see the actions drop down, and these are processes. Acumatica will enable the different processes based on the status of the transaction, the details within it, and the user permissions. And the reports will be our forms that we can print from those transactions. All right, so we're going to start our sales order. First, we need to enter our customer. So we have a few options for lookup. You can use the F3 button as well as the magnifying glass to pull up a list of options. Acumatica also has type ahead functionality. So if I start typing, it's going to find anything that matches either the customer ID or the customer name. And so I'm going to choose my customer there. Again, like I mentioned, we can drag and drop files into our transactions. So here I have the customer purchase order. I can pull that here, and you will see once it saves that now we have one file attached to our transaction. All right, so now we're going to drop down into the line items, and we see we have an option to add a stock item. So from this pop-up window, you have a few different capabilities. You can search for alternate IDs within the system, which are unlimited. You can add connected to each item. And then you also have an option to see historical sales for the customer within this, which is very helpful for customer service to use for upsell and cross-sell directly from your order screen. So if I have a customer on the line that doesn't remember what the product's called and I don't know the product ID, but they know that it's an Aspire laptop, I can save that as an alternate ID, and then it will bring up automatically my inventory ID. Also, I can use this sold since. So I can pull up sales for the customer that's chosen on the sales order back to a certain date. So let's just go to March of 2018. And so now we're going to see a list of every item that they've purchased since that date to current. And it's going to tell me, okay, the last sale for each product and the quantity that was ordered, what they were charged, and the date. And so maybe they want to order this computer again. So I can check that directly from the screen, say add and close, and it will automatically put that on my sales order. So we'll notice it's brought in our quantity of 1. It's automatically pulled in a unit price that's saved in the system based on the customer and the item. And maybe they decide, I think I need 3 instead of 1. So if we update our quantity to 3 and tab, we can see that now our unit price is updated to $4.75. So there's a quantity break in the system, and Acumatica automatically updates that price based on that quantity break. You also notice here at the bottom, we have real-time inventory information for the line item that we're on. You don't have to navigate away from the order to know that I have 276 computers available for shipment. You can also pull up more detailed availability information using inventory summary, and that's going to give you quantities for each different step of the process. Within the item grid and in any screen, you can manipulate the columns. You can also change which columns you see on the screen and in what order. If I use this column configurator, I can say, maybe I don't need these. I need to see them after my discount information. And maybe I have something else here, these thresholds I don't really need. I can move them off of my visible columns. And each column configuration is going to be saved per user so that they can see what is important for them to do their job. You'll notice here that the requested on and ship on date are per line item. So you may have 10 items that all need to ship at different times. You can set those per line item within Acumatica. Okay, let me save my order. We're going to take a look at shipping. Acumatica has integrated carrier shipping from UPS, USPS, and FedEx. And so what it does is it live pings the shipping website based on the setup on the customer and order, and it's going to give you automatic freight costs back. And this can be based on your shipping carrier account or your customers, if those are stored in the system. And this is an included Acumatica feature that comes with the sales orders. So if I click here on Shop for Rates for shipping and refresh, that's when it's doing the ping to the carrier sites, and it's going to bring back, based on my order, which options I have and how much, what the cost is going to be for those. So let's say we want UPS ground. That's also going to populate a box based on the setup on the item and the order that should be used for shipping. And so if I say okay, it's going to add those options to my order. Down here a little ways, we see shipping terms. This is where we can use shipping terms to add a handling fee or a shipping markup. And these are set up and can be linked to the customer or added manually here. So I'm going to add cost and freight plus handling, which adds a $10 handling charge. So if we save that and take a look over here on totals, we're going to notice that our cost that came in from our UPS site is $45.39, but our freight price that we're going to charge to our customer is $55.39. So that includes that handling fee. Okay, another feature within the Acumatica sales order and invoice is credit card processing directly from the screen. So if I go into payment settings, I can change my payment method to Visa. And so this functionality is a standard feature and it is PCI compliant. Authorize.net creates the token and adds it to the customer master file. And so you're not storing any of the customer credit card information. That's all tokenized by your processing company. So directly within this order screen, I can either use a card that's already on file, or I can click here on New Card and create a new one here in Acumatica. I click Create New, and I would enter the card information. And my expiration date. The code. Let's see my button, save that card. And now that card will be used within Acumatica for this order. And here within the screen, I can also authorize my credit card payment, or you have the option to capture it immediately. So if you have counter sales or low volume point of sale, you can charge that card immediately. And then you can create the invoice here, and then the shipment would be the end and the invoice would already be paid. And Acumatica also accommodates cash, check, and wire transfer payments. So we're going to go ahead and authorize our card. And save. Okay, we're going to pop back to document details. So we've gotten their shipment information, their payment information. So maybe our customer says, well, I don't want this shipped today. I need it shipped at a later date. So we can actually change our requested on and ship on date. And Acumatica has functionality to audit those changes. And that's for all fields on many of the different transaction screens. And so if I change the date and I click Save, under Tools up here on the right, I have Audit History. And there's also reports that show this information, but you have every change that was made on the sales order. So here you can see my dates were 6/26. Now I updated them to 6/27. You have date and time that this was performed and which user made the change. So very specific audit history. Okay, so our order is complete. Now we want to email our customer the sales order confirmation. You can do that directly from the screen. And once that sends, that email is going to be recorded under our activities here. So we can drill in and see the email that was sent, as well as the sales order confirmation file that was attached. So you have that data in future if it needs to be resent. Okay, so we've sent out the sales order confirmation. Now we want to go ahead and process this for shipment. So we're going to go under Actions and Create Shipment. Okay. Date changed. We're going to process that shipment. So once the shipment is created, that is sent to the warehouse in real time for fulfillment. So now we can go in as our warehouse manager. So this would be his dashboard out in the warehouse or on a tablet or whatever he's using. And he can see that, oh, I have shipments to pick. You'll notice on the dashboard that it's a central location where each employee can manage their tasks. So again, this is the warehouse manager, and these are all designed around the user's role. The colors are used to bring issues to your attention. So, we have late shipments. It's something that they need to do right away. And the dashboard widgets all have drill down capabilities that give actionable insight. So again, we have shipments to picks, our order that we just created a shipment for. If we drill into that number, we can see the list of orders that make up that total. And then additionally, within an inquiry screen where you have a list of records, you can open a side panel that's going to give you the details of that whichever shipment you have highlighted. So here I have shipment 2428 that we just created. And I can also expand that side panel, but I haven't navigated away from my list of orders or of shipments. So from here, now my warehouse manager could go in and print his pick list. So there's his pick list with barcodes if necessary. And then I can go back in. So then he goes to the shelf, he pulls the items, packages them in a box, and then when he's finished, he will come in and confirm the shipment. So that just says, okay, everything's ready, I'm ready to send this out. If I confirm shipment, and I click over to my packages tab, here's that medium box that was automatically created in the beginning of the sales order. And now I have my UPS tracking number automatically back from UPS, and the UPS label is attached to the package line. So I could print that from there. And so this is all the integrated shipping. You can get prices from your sales order, and you can get your tracking and your labels back from the carrier automatically within Acumatica without having to go to any other software. And we can, from here, once our shipment has been confirmed and sent, we can actually drill back to our sales order and see that it now has been changed to a completed status. So that's the end of the shipping process. I will go through invoicing once we go through our next example of sales order. Okay, so like I said, this next example, I'm going to start the sales order in the mobile app. So maybe you have salespeople in the field, somebody in the field taking orders. They can have a tablet or even a phone to enter the orders that will in real time be in Acumatica for processing. So I'm going to switch over here. Those are extra windows. Okay, so I've logged into the Acumatica mobile application, and if we scroll down, I see sales orders here. And so in the mobile app, you're going to see the same list of sales orders, and like I said, you can also add them just like you would in the web screen. So I'm going to hit New Sales Order, similarly pick the customer, active staffing. I can pick, if they have a preference in shipping, I can pick that here. And so that's the summary section. Then I'll click over to the details tab. And here's where I'll add my items. I can use the lookup. You can search within the lookup list as well. I'm going to add the Lego sets, and they want 10 of those. You can see it's automatically pulling pricing from Acumatica. And they also want to order one other item. So I'll hit the plus again, look up an inventory. I want this little types table and one of those. All right, so that'll complete the entry of the order in the field, and then it can be processed from there at the office or in the warehouse. So I will save. And once it saves, now it's available within Acumatica. So I'm going to switch back to our mobile screen. And I'm going to use Acumatica's universal search. In this tool, you can search most anything in the system. So I'm looking to process an order. I can type in a word or words, and it's going to start searching as I type. You can see there's 4 different screens with different information. You can choose menu items, transactions, and profiles will give you data within the system. Help topics are general help articles that can be used when training. And files is going to search file names of anything that's been attached in the system. And like I said, as I type, it's going to continue decreasing the list to match my search. So I want to process that order that that was just created by my salesperson in the field. So I can choose create shipment, and we can see this sales order 4844 that was created in the mobile app. And you can use the dates here at the top to adjust the list of items that you see. So because I have orders that are in the system that are set to ship after today, if I want to see those, I could adjust this date and you're going to see additional items pop on. So you can use the parameters to limit your list. You also have an option, any of the process screens or inquiries, you can filter the list and you can actually save those filters to be used over and over again. So if it's something that you need to use every day or every week, you can set that as a saved tab and it will make your work each day even easier. So let's say we only want to see the orders that have requested shipment dates this week. So we have some older things in here that we know have issues and we're waiting on things. So we don't really want to see those. We only want to see if it's set to ship this week. So I can click the filter and add a row to add criteria. So I want requested on this week. And I can save that and name it. And I can also share it. So it may be something that only you use and you don't want to share it, but it may be something that your whole team could use. So if you click share, then everybody would have access to the tab that we're going to see. So if I hit apply, you're going to notice that requested this week is going to pop up here, and this will be here every time you log in. So now I only see my one that I just created. That's what I want to process. And so I can process this manually, or I have the option to use this icon up here and create an automation schedule. The little clock icon, and you can see it in most of the process screens. So if I drop that down and click add, here I'm able to set all of the criteria and details for that automation. If you want it to go once or every week, on what schedule, the frequency, the time. And then I can also set conditions to reduce that list. So it's including my tab condition of requested on this week. Okay, so we're just going to process this one manually, and I only want to process what's on my requested this week tab, so I'm going to hit process all. Okay, so it processed my one order. So now I'm going to go into process shipments. So now my shipment has been created. And again, I can print my pick ticket the same way that I've done. Again, this process can be put on an automation schedule. So if you want your pick tickets to print automatically when your shipments are created for a certain criteria of dates or other data in the system, we can do that. And it can print the pick tickets directly to your warehouse printer. All right. So now our shipment is created, our order is ready for picking, and now we're going to move back to the warehouse scanner. And we're going to actually use the scanner to pick, pack, and ship this order. Really quickly, I want to show you a feature that we're going to use during this pick, pack, and ship. So, So if we go into our Lego item, the items all have this cross-reference option. And so if you remember, we ordered 10, or a customer ordered 10 items, 10 eaches of the Legos. Well, with the Lego setup, we have a barcode for each of the items, and we also have a second barcode that is actually for a box of 10. So within the warehouse scanner, we can actually scan this single barcode, and it will recognize that it's 10 eaches to fulfill our order. And we'll see that when we get into the scanner. And so these are unlimited. You can set up as many as you want. So if you have different units, scans for different items, then those can be added within Acumatica and managed. All right, so now, like I said, we're going to go pick, pack, and ship here. Get back to my main screen. And again, this is the same app that we use to create a sales order. If we scroll down, we see warehouse management. That's going to include all of our scanner screens. So I'm going to go pick, pack, and ship. And it's going to prompt me for that shipment number. And so on the pick ticket, you have the shipment barcode. You would scan that, and that's going to load. Now, if we hit this little review button, we can see over here that we have 10 Legos to pick and 1 Little Tikes table. And I'm going to scan that barcode for the box of 10 Legos. Oh, except I scanned the wrong thing. First, we're going to scan the location of, so we've walked down to the warehouse to pull our items. We're standing in front of the shelf, and we scan our bin location. That's better. Now our item, our box of 10. And so now if we hit review, we did 1 scan, but you're going to notice on our first item that we now have picked 10. So that's where that alternate barcode comes into play. Okay, now we have our other item to pick. We're going to scan the location, scan the item. And so now it knows everything that was on this shipment is already picked. So now I can go and take what I've picked and put it in boxes. So I can switch the mode to pack. And it's going to ask me to scan the box. So I would have barcodes for the different size boxes. So I have a medium box, and I'm going to put that case of 10 into that box. And so that's all that will fit. I'm going to hit OK to confirm the package, and then it wants the weight. So you can manually type this in. You can have scans for it, however you wanted to do that. And now it's saying, okay, well, I still have items. So scan another box. So this one needs a large box. And I'm going to scan my Little Tikes item. And then hit OK to confirm the package. So that's everything packed. Then you enter the weight of your package. And now it says my shipment is packed. So it's ready to go. So from the scanner, I can, at the top, confirm shipment, which is going to do the same thing that we saw within the web screens. And that's going to ping UPS and get my tracking numbers and get my labels. So I'm going to pull back up the web, and we will go to our shipment. And so here's our shipment that we just picked and packed with the mobile scanner. And if we go to our packages tab, we see we have our attached labels, we have our tracking numbers, and something that the packing feature within the scanner can do is I have my medium box. I can see down at the bottom contains my 10 Lego sets. And if I click to the large box, I can see it contains the 1 Little Tikes table. So it can actually store which products went into which box. Okay, so that's all shipped and finished. So now we can go and create invoices. So I'm going to navigate back to the process shipment screen. And if we drop this down, we're going to see we have prepare invoice. Another option, if your company doesn't invoice right away, or you have a process to invoice at the end of the day, but you want your on-hand inventory to reflect the quantities that have shipped throughout the day or been taken off the shelf and packaged up, you can run a process to update inventory for any confirmed shipment. And this can be done manually again or as an automation. And it's going to remove those item quantities from inventory. And then later when you have time or when you are scheduled to do it, you can create the actual customer invoice. And that's another way to give you insight into real-time inventory. So for this example, we're going to go ahead and prepare invoices. And I'm going to go ahead and process all of these. They're all done, ready to invoice. And then we're going to go into an invoice and review the link between the two and how that impacts the GL. Okay, so our 4 invoices have been processed. Now I need to go and view the invoice. I can use my universal search again and see here is the invoice for the order that I created. And these can be reviewed, these can be emailed to the customer. Okay, let me try one of these. Okay, and these are automatically releasing. So once the invoice is released, we can see the release is what actually allows the journal to be created and records this to the GL. So if I go to financial details, I can see I have my GL batch link here, and I can drill into that and see what happened when I created and released that invoice. And so real-time journal entries and financial management are the backbone of Acumatica. All right, so we've seen that Acumatica offers flexible time-saving options for sales order processing, and those can all be configured to best meet your needs. So that's the sales order process. I'm going to touch briefly on quotes. I'm just going to pull up one that we already have in the system. If I go to transactions, I can see there is my quote to Marina Golf Club. And quotes like this one can be entered as a QT type order. And then it will be copied to a sales order when that customer is ready to purchase the items. Quotes can also be managed with opportunities in the CRM module. And so with that, Acumatica allows you to document and track when your quotes are converted to orders in both situations. So here under actions, I can see I have a copy order. So if I do that, it's going to take all the details within that quote and create an SO type order. And then I can save that. And the order would be ready for processing. And if we take a look at the financial settings tab, we can see down here at the bottom that we can see which quote this was created from if we need to track back. But the system is storing that that quote was copied and converted to an order. Okay, that's basically the quotes. Acumatica also easily handles drop ship and special order items. So I'm going to show you the process flow from the sales order to creating a purchase order for a drop ship and then invoicing the customer when that drop ship has been sent to them. So we're going to go back into sales orders and create another sales order. Basic entry will be the same. I'm going to add an item. And I'm going to add the quantity, and you're going to notice that it's going to alert me that you don't have any of these in this warehouse. You can also see at the bottom that it's all zeros. So I have this box here to mark for PO. So if I click that, it's going to open up the source box, and I can see if I drop that down, I have an option to drop ship or purchase to order, where you would order it specifically for the sales order, but receive it in your warehouse and then ship it to your customer. We're going to go through a drop ship today, but they're very similar. So I'm going to select drop ship here and save it. So now directly from the sales order, I can go to create purchase order. So it's going to link the two, and it's going to pull up my line item from the sales order I just created, so I can process that. And this can be done in batches or on an automated schedule as well. You can see that there. I'm just going to process this one. And within that screen, Acumatica uses the default vendor from the item for the order, but you can change it at that point if you want it to come from another vendor. So it's going to automatically take us to the purchase order screen. You can tell the type for the purchase order is drop ship, so you can differentiate these in the system. So I'm going to confirm, yes, I want to send the one to my customer. I'm going to take it off hold. If we take a look at shipping instructions, we can see that our customer information is what's included here, not our warehouse information. So it's going to populate that from the sales order. And then we can also see on other information that we have the link back to our sales order that created this PO. Again, we can use actions to email the purchase order to the vendor, and that's going to attach the activity. And so that's been sent off, and now we get the invoice back from our vendor. So we assume from that the product has been shipped to our customer. That's all completed. So we're going to go into the PO, and we're going to enter a PO receipt. And with the PO receipt, it's going to create the invoice. So it's going to do it all in one step. So even though we're not actually receiving, this is how you manage it in the system. So we have this create bill checked, and like I said, that's going to automatically also create your vendor invoice. And we're going to put in our vendor invoice number. And we're going to release that. And so once that has been created, we can click on this purchase order tab to navigate back to our PO, which in turn we can see the sales order demand that originally created that PO here on this tab. So everything's linked together. You don't have to go search for everything. You can see within the different screens what was created and linked to the PO and the sales order. So we open up our original sales order that we created. We'll see now that once that vendor invoice is entered and released, that our sales order automatically gets completed. So you don't have to go back and finish your sales order. It's done. And from here, we can prepare the invoice. So the system knows that a drop ship, you don't have a situation where you need to ship to your customer, so you just immediately prepare the invoice to the customer. And that will launch that. And the invoice can be released. And so the drop ship is completed. All right, so let me get back, close some of my extra screens. Okay, the last thing that we're going to see is discounts. Acumatica offers an extensive options for group pricing discounts. If we use our search again, we'll take a look at how those are set up. So first we look at discount codes. And so you can see in discount type that we have 3 different ones. You can do a entire document discount, a group as it's defined by the code configuration, or a document line. And so within for the group, you can make it applicable to individual items or paired combinations, as you see here. So I have customer and item, you know, a lot of different options there of how to set them up. And then for each discount code, you can select some other options. So manual just tells it whether I can manually choose this or whether it's going to use it in an automatic search for the best available discount. For the line discounts, you have the option to exclude the line from a discountable amount. So if there is a line discount and you don't want it to be included in the total for either a group or a document discount, you can check this here and that would eliminate it. And then for groups, you have the option to skip document discounts. So if I have a group discount, then I don't want to apply any document discounts. And you can check that box. And then these discount codes are used to create different discounts that are utilized in the sales orders. So we're going to take a look today at a group discount where we're getting different percent discounts based on break quantity. And so we've added the code that is a group discount by item. And then you can either do a discount by percent, amount, or free item. So the free item, and we'll see it when we go in our sales order, is if I purchase a specific item, I'm going to get another item free and it's going to automatically add on to my sales order. Your break buy can be either by quantity or amount. You can also define the discount as promotional, so it would be for a limited period of time, and that's all set up in the discount configuration. So here on the discount breakpoints, we see that if we order a quantity of 1 of any of this group of items, we get a 5% discount. If we order 2 or more, we get a 10% discount. And the items that are included in the group are here on the items tab. So any of these items, if there's a quantity of 1, you get a 5%, quantity of 2 or more, you get 10%. Okay, so let's see how that works in a sales order. Just going to, again, create a new sales order. So I'm going to add one of our industrial items and a quantity of 1. And if I flip over to this discount details tab, we're going to see that we have our GRPI discount and we have a quantity of 1 and we're showing a 5% discount. So if I click back to the details and add another item, and again, this is the item that has a free item discount associated as well. When I add this item with the quantity of 1, we're going to see that we have another item added on at 0 cost. And if we click back to discount details, we're now going to see that we have our original percent discount is now 10% based on the 2 quantity, and we have our free item discount that's stacked on top of that. So they can work together or not, depending on the setup of the codes. And so for the group and the document discount, you're going to see those here in this discount details tab. You're also going to see the discount total up here in the header. For line item discounts, which we don't have here, you would see the information here in the line. And it would just be reflected with the order total. Okay, so that's discount options in Acumatica. So as you can see, Acumatica includes many valuable features to streamline the sales order process, and it has flexible configuration to meet your company's needs. And that's it. So we have questions.